Hello, everyone. Welcome to Systematic Theology. I'm your professor, Dr. Armin Oganessian. You guys can call me Dr. O, Dr. Oganessian. These lectures are what we're going to call the living room lectures, and these are simple lectures to help you understand the material and your reading better and help you with your assignments. So with that said, let's jump right in. Systematic Theology 1. So most systematic theologies begin with what's called Prolegomena. Prolegomena simply means first things. These are the first things before you start doing theology. These are the first questions you have to ask about theology before you can even begin. Those questions are, what is theology? What is the purpose of theology? I'm going to use real fast. I'll use the term theology and systematic theology interchangeably. So I'll sometimes say theology, sometimes systematic theology. But question number 3, what is the relationship to theology or systematic theology to the other disciplines like Old Testament studies, New Testament studies? And finally, why should we care? All right, number 1. What is theology? So theology comes from two roots, theos, meaning God, and ology, meaning word or study of, sometimes knowledge. If you think of John 1:1, the word was with God. That's the same root, ology, logos, word, or knowledge, study of. So theology properly is the study of God, or having knowledge of God, or the best way to think about it is thinking of God rightly. Theology, or why in your mind, is thinking of God rightly. That's what we're doing. That's our purpose, that's our aim, is to think of God rightly. So we can break up theology into those two roots, theos and ology. Looking at the second one first, knowledge or word. Knowledge, usually philosophers have 3 components to knowledge: justified, true belief. This is called the classical analysis of knowledge, if you read the literature. What they mean, philosophers mean, and even theologians mean, is whenever you have knowledge, all 3 of these are present. Whenever you have knowledge, all 3, justified, true, belief, all 3 of those components are present in your mind, or present in your relationship to reality. So justified, true belief. Justified is the grounds on which you're believing the thing, or the reason you have the knowledge. It's when I ask you, why is the sky blue? What you tell me, oh, my eyes are telling me that they're blue. I'm seeing them as blue. That's your grounds. That's your justification for believing that the sky is blue. And then true, in that it actually corresponds to reality. It actually, outside of your mind, that's the way it is. It's true. It corresponds to the world out there. It corresponds to the objective reality in which you're living in. And belief is that you actually believe it, or you actually internalize the thing. You actually internalize that truth. So we can do an example real fast. I drop the pen. Now, that proposition or that sentence, the pen, Armin's pen dropped, Dr. O's pen dropped. You have knowledge of that proposition if all 3 of these are true. You're justified, i.e., your senses, chiefly your sight, has given you that information. That's your justification. I believe that the pen dropped. I believe Dr. O's pen dropped because my eyesight told me so. So that's your justification. It's true. My pen actually did drop. That's what actually happened in reality. And you believe it. You've internalized that to be true. Since all 3 of those are present, you actually have knowledge that my pen dropped. All right, moving forward. Going to that second part of theology, or the first part, we just looked at the second part. Knowledge, you have justified true belief about God. And this is what gives theology its significance. This is why it is what Luther called the queen of the sciences. Right? This is why it's more important. Studying theology is more important than economics, even though that's important. Physics, even though those things are important. Because you're thinking, you're having justified true belief about the most important thing, namely God. Okay, let's continue and think about the purpose of theology. The purpose of theology, the reason that you're thinking of God rightly, is that you can worship him rightly. Or what I often say is all theology goes to doxology, or all theology leads to doxology, doxology meaning worship. So every time you think of God rightly, that should spring up in your heart and mind true worship of God. So you're doing theology so that you can worship God better. You're thinking of God rightly so you can worship him better. Or we can say it like this. You're knowing God so you can fulfill the great commandment of loving your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. You have to know God in order to love him with all your mind. In order to fulfill this commandment, you have to love God. All right, till next time.